Well, welcome to the Buchanan Area Senior Center. So happy to see you. Happy Friday. Deb, thank you so much.
I thought you were going to say that. I was going to say it if you forgot to say it.
That's kind of my thing now. Oh, I love my job.
We're going to write her a new script.
But it kind of gets us going.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. So I had the best job ever. So, and I'm excited to be here. My name is Diana. I am the program coordinator here at the BASC. Today we are featuring Deb Hendrix. Deb Hendrix is a board member. Thank you so much for taking your time for being here and volunteering and being on the board and all the things that you do. We do appreciate it. So let's get started, Deborah. Why did you want to become a board member? What interests you?
Well, first of all, let me just say, Diana, thank you for the opportunity. I think what you're doing is really great.
Thank you.
I don't think anyone previous to Diana has done anything like introducing board members and allowing them to share, with the community. People want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. So you want to know what we're all about, whether we have your best interest at heart. Hopefully we do, as we're all mostly seniors as well. So anyway, thank you for the opportunity. As a board member, I thought what I could offer was just maybe a different perspective to this. Of course, I didn't necessarily participate in a whole lot of things with the center, but I participated in some things and enjoyed those very much, mostly exercise.
And she still does.
And I still do. And I'm amazed, to be honest with you ladies and gentlemen, that I'm amazed at the things that are offered that I didn't know about. But just to tell you a little bit about myself, I thought I would use like a story to kind of tell you who I am, what my perspective is, what's really important to me. And to share this is something that we shared in diversity training with people to kind of open them up and make them think, about the world, about life, about participating with others, about sharing, about giving. And it was called The Cold Within. However, the author is unknown, so we can't give credit to anyone. But anyway, this is how it goes.
Is it G-O-L-D or C-O-L? Gold or cold?
The cold.
Cold, C-O.
Like the cold outside.
Oh, okay.
Cold weather.
So, 6 humans trapped by happenstance in black and bitter cold. Each one possesses a stick of wood, or so the story's told. Their dying fire in need of log. The first woman held hers back. For those around the fire, she noticed one of them was black. The next man, looking across the way, saw one not of his church and could not bring himself to give. The first, his stick of birch. The third one sat in tattered clothes. He gave his coat a hitch. Why should his log be shared to warm the idle rich? The rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store and how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. The black man's face bespoke revenge and anger at his lot. As the fire passed from his sight, all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. And the last man of this forlorn group did naught except for gain, giving only to those who gave was how he played the game. The logs tight in death's still hands was proof of human sin. They did not die from the cold without. they died from the cold within.
Okay, I have goosebumps.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's kind of like, we are a community of many diverse people. Hopefully, we can accept our differences, still take care of each other, still do for each other, still be a community of love. And I think we need more of that now as we look at the world and how divided we are. It would be nice
Would be.
if we could just see a need and serve it. So,
That's beautiful. And I just will let you know that on September 21st is National Peace Day. So that's another day that would remind us to be kind and compassionate and to think of others and to put away judgment for the day. And by hearing that and listening to what Deborah has to say, I think it's also an opportunity so we can start now. So
Yes.
bring peace and joy.
yeah.
Yeah, so, now is that something that when you were working and within the diversity program, was that something you guys use as your,
We used as a conversation piece.
okay,
We used it to kind of open up people, to kind of put us on the same lane so that everybody wouldn't be going in their lane. This is my opinion,
yeah,
this is what I think, this is how I feel. We tried to go in the lane of we're better together.
And who was that you were doing that with?
When I did the training, Department of Corrections,
Oh,
which,
okay.
as you know, extremely diverse. And one of the bad things about the department over the years was that so many of the people had such a terrible attitude about the people who got themselves into trouble. It wasn't like, well, they, went down the wrong path. It was more like they deserved it. We're going to treat them mean. We're going to make their time hard. We're going to violate them in any possible way that we can. So we wanted to try to open up to a different approach. An approach that sometimes we don't start out fair in life. So sometimes the path for a person, when you start looking at their lives, you say to yourself, what other way were they going to go? They didn't see anything else. They didn't have anything else. They didn't have the support. They didn't have the job. They didn't have the things that people who usually succeed have. So you need to see that and try to help, not hurt. So,
empower and build them up versus put
Yeah.
them down.
yeah. And then the cognitive approach supposedly is what we were trying to push for, and that is let them change their minds, let them change their worldview, because everything boils down to values and beliefs. So if your value is I survive by any means necessary, then your belief is going to be if I do wrong, that's okay.
And sometimes they feel that's what they deserve. And
That's
their
true.
self-worth is
Well,
low.
self-esteem is
And-
always an issue
Yes, and,
with everyone.
yes, oh, yeah. We all
Because,
have couple
what we
moments.
found is that a lot of people that work for the department didn't exactly have the best self-image. And that was one of the reasons that it was easier to be cruel or to be mean rather than compassionate.
Now, when
So-
you're unhappy, sometimes it's hard to show happiness.
Or in some kind of a rut,
Yeah.
which vocationally people go through all of that. We're all human.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's good. Any questions? No? Okay.
No, but it reminds me of something that I just moved from a community out of Tennessee. We worked with the young folks there, And that was one of our programs at kids camp. We had a gentleman who did lots of bad things, that corrected himself at an early age, was our teacher there to teach the children that not to be bad, how to handle themselves, and to do better in their ages as they grew up.
Right.
In other words, he taught them, don't be nasty. You can do your work in the community and get along with people.
Well, I'll tell you another story that I've got a lot of.
Yeah,
sure you
I bet
do.
you have.
There was one guy, because I started out, I was a probation officer. So in the court system, if you get probation in circuit court, you have a felony, but you have an opportunity to kind of get your life together, get a job. You have special conditions. We report back to the judge what's going on, and we make recommendations. If they're doing well, a lot of times we recommend early discharge, whatever, anything that can make that person better. And being a human being, this guy was so angry, so awful, so mad, and he came, but obviously he hated coming. And I sent him programs, and he'd find one excuse after another not to go. And he'd give me all these excuses. And so frankly, it got to the point where every time I got a call to say, he's out there, I'd get a stomach ache. You know, it's like, oh my goodness.
Where's the Tylenol?
Yeah, what can I say? What can I do to motivate? What can I change? And so, anyway, it went on like that for quite some time.
Takes patience.
It takes patience. And then I found out that he had AIDS. And that made me feel a little more, shall I say, understanding of his anger at everybody else. And so I don't really, to be honest, I don't know what changed in my tone, but something must have changed because he changed. And he came to me one day and he said, I know I must have driven you crazy. And I didn't say, yes, you did. I just
Yes, in your mind.
said, I want to keep things on the way they're going right now. Let's keep it like this. So anyway, and then he went on to say, but you know, I have all these problems, and I have all these medical conditions, and you're talking about don't use drugs, don't do this. What does it matter what I do? I'm going to die anyway.
It's an attitude he had.
So you get choices. Did he started to make different choices to live more?
He started making different choices. He started making amends in his life to his family, to his wife, who was the one who gave him AIDS, in his opinion. He started to follow the treatment plan. He started to, become more human, for lack of a better word. But he did pass away. Because at that time, they were just coming out with a lot of the treatments. And he waited too late to really start complying with all those things that they offered through the health department, although he was referred. And so, but at least he left his family and his friends on good terms. It wasn't a sad story like it could have been.
Right.
And he came to some realizations. And it seems as though he was at peace. So.
Don't
That's
it
beautiful.
make you I don't want to use the word proud because that's not a word we should use,
Yeah.
but it makes you happy that when you do help a person that really needs the help. I do. I enjoy that.
Grateful. Grateful that you're able
Is the
to.
word I'm
You know,
looking for.
the words that I always use for that is that if you help someone else, you help yourself. So
You got
it's
that
not like you're just doing that for them or like you're on some higher plane.
Right.
That every kindness, if it helps someone, it helps you.
Help you,
Because you feel better, they feel better, and that passes on to other people. And I guess that's the fable, the story. That's the real story. That
Right.
somehow I found a way to reach him. I don't know how I found it, but I did.
But you did.
Your compassion changed
Yeah.
when you heard his story.
Yeah. And something changed between us. And from there, he made other changes in his life.
Success story.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So,
Beautiful. How long have you been on the board?
almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Okay.
But I feel like an infant. I'm still learning.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel that in life, you're always learning.
You learn every day of your life.
Yeah.
You
There
learn
was
something.
a saying that I can remember as a college student coming to my mother and saying, when is it that you start to feel like, well, I'm okay now. I kind of know what life is all about and know what to do and kind of think I'm doing pretty great. And you know what she told me? She said, when the good master says, well done, that's when it starts.
I love having lessons, and I always feel like, okay, I got this lesson, and somehow the universe, God, it's like the spiral thing. You come back around to like, how well did you learn it? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, seriously.
Well, it keeps coming back
Yeah.
if you don't.
And so, okay, now I get to go a little deeper with it. So let's expand on that.
So,
It's a
yeah.
key lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I say, I have to say, and I'm not saying that because we got, people here that work for the senior center.
Right.
The senior center does wonderful work.
You betcha.
They do wonderful work, and they're constantly trying to improve the work that they do. And you can't ask for better than that.
Mm-mm.
So,
And we have a great board that supports us.
And my favorite part is right in there,
yeah.
working with the sewing.
Yeah.
I'm working with a lady now that is, bless her sweetheart, has had a hard time learning, but she's doing it.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
And I think one of the things that I would like to see is more of our seniors to know what services are available. And more to come and participate.
Yeah, how do we get them
Yeah.
pulled in?
Get that outreach out there.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We need to reach out as far as we can.
Mhm. So.
So bring everybody in, invite your friends.
Yeah. Or bring a partner to the exercise
Yeah.
class. or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, that's something that you do. And we could maybe create something like that. Bring a partner.
We did that. Oh,
Yeah.
we did it in the newsletter.
It was pretty
And I
hard
have
to get a.
Yeah, you even got a mystery bag,
Yeah.
we're like mystery bags, they even had them out here,
I
but.
have a lady that lives the third floor up, 2 floors up above me. I'd love to get her out, but her grandmother can't get her out.
Oh,
Ah,
And she'd be, I said, she could ride with me every day up here.
yeah.
We come and stuff, but we can't get her
I
out.
have a lady like that I've been trying to encourage to come. And, she just says, I like my crossword puzzles but I worry about her because her socialization
Right.
is
Yeah.
missing.
But her granddaughter comes over and does all her running, her grocery shopping, does everything for
Yeah.
her.
Maybe we need a class on how to do crosswords better. She could teach it, maybe.
there you go.
Well, see, I'd be bored to tears. I just don't know
Yeah.
how she sits there
Yeah.
day after day. I don't know.
Introverted.
We're always
Well,
open to
I'm
ideas.
introverted, so that's no excuse.
As long as, she's also a board member, but she is also a volunteer for our Compassionate Colors.
Yeah.
Can you kind of share us what that is, what it does, and what kind of joy it brings you?
Well, we become like family. The people that we call people that they're not all shut-ins, but for the most part, they're limited in what they can do and where they can go. And we're just an outlet to call them and say, how you doing? What do you need? Can we do anything for you? And then they talk to us. And I think sometimes they tell us things that they didn't really intend to tell us.
Right.
And we talk about the past, we talk about their marriages, many of them are widowed. We talk about life, we talk about what they want to do, what interests they have, and in a lot of ways they talk about interests in the past. And we try to bring it back to today. What about now? What about something you might want to do now to make a memory, or to do something special with your family, or to try to mend the fences with families, because a lot of times there are issues and they'll talk about arguments, issues, problems that they have with their families, and you try to minimize that. And, make peace with your family. Be close to your family.
Sounds like some good conversations.
Yeah, some it gets pretty heavy sometimes.
Well, that really shows you to be the receiver, to listen and to comfort. So thank you for doing the confession callers. I can see that
I enjoy it.
that you are very, very
I
have a
enjoy
good
it.
space for that. Thank
And
you.
then sometimes they just cry. I mean,
Yeah.
and then you wonder, I hope I didn't cause that. I hope I'm bringing happy. That's what I'm trying to do. So.
A little bit about yourself. You grew up in Buchanan. You went to school in Buchanan. Is that what I understand? You're
Yes, I'm a native of Buchanan.
You're native.
And when I left Buchanan, I swore I would never come back.
Me
Look at
too.
me now.
Because when you was working, for the government, you was over by the Detroit area.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wayne
so
County.
she went from small town to whoop.
Well, if you want to hear about that, I won't bore you to tears.
Whereabouts did you move to from here?
I moved to the Metro Detroit area. Of course, I had been in Kalamazoo for a while going to college. That wasn't anything compared to Metro Detroit. So anyway, I got a job there with the state, and the training area that we had to go to, first of all, my husband had to take me the night before to every new place I had to go, so I know how to get there.
Well, that's a smart lady.
Because otherwise I'd probably been driving around for days. So anyway, but the training area that we had to go to, where you had to be there for 6 weeks, was in the heart of the ghetto.
Wow.
Yeah. It was near Wayne State's campus, which is right there in the Cass Corridor, which at the time they were murdering women. Raping and murdering women.
Oh my gosh.
And so my poor mother said, why did you have to go there? So anyway, we would walk down to a restaurant to have lunch after our training, in between. And there would be people begging on the street. And not having ever experienced that, I would start reaching in my purse and say, oh, no, don't do that. Just keep walking, act like you don't see them. Go ahead. So, just a totally different culture. Totally different culture. I went from everybody knew you, they knew who you were. If you did anything bad, they knew that. If you did anything good, they knew that too. If you were just quiet and in between, your life story was an open book to total anonymity. Total and complete anonymity.
tell you a story on my husband, who is deceased.
Yeah.
He taught school in Ohio for about 30 years, okay? But he was here and we went to Chicago. He had never seen bag ladies.
Yeah.
We were walking down the street and he goes, I said, yeah, honey, that's a bag lady.
Yeah, it's a total thing. And
It
then
is.
the
It
interesting
is.
thing about it, you adapt to it, you change, your life changes, you're comfortable, no problem, you think nothing of it. And then when I came back here, I had to make the opposite adjustment. Came back here, everybody's all in your business. Now, wait a minute.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny.
Here's anonymous.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
Ain't no
Now, is your
anonymous here.
husband but did you meet him at the Western?
Well, no, like I told you once before, I've done it twice like
Okay,
you.
okay, yes.
So,
Practice makes perfect.
you know, we're
Oh,
alone these
okay.
days. I mean,
Yep.
you know,
Okay.
it's fine.
Yeah, yep, I hear
Not a
you.
problem.
Nope, hear ya, you're good. That is so
Yeah, we
funny.
tried that, so.
Yeah. What was one of your favorite childhood memories growing up here?
Well, I think mostly I always loved school.
Oh,
And so
she's a
one of the
learner.
things that my dad used to tell us, because he was uneducated, I think he quit school in 6th grade. And my mother finished high school. But my dad's family, they were just really dirt poor, grew up with nothing. And my mother's family was a little more accomplished. But, you know, we never had much. But they always said, get your education, because no one can take that away from you.
Yep.
So it was always stressed. So school wasn't a question.
okay.
You know, gotta do it.
Yep. And did you go to, I just, because you said Kalamazoo, did you go to Western?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. And what was your major in the social work or something? or-
Social work and sociology.
Okay,
And then on the master's level, it was counseling.
Counseling?
Was one.
Oh, wow.
Counseling.
counseling. That's why
Could
she's so
use your
good at
services
convention.
here.
Yeah, that's why she's
Yeah.
so good at convention callers.
Counseling is a job and a half.
It is. It takes a lot out of you. You have to work at
Because Malcolm
removing
became
your
a guidance counselor
emotions.
at
Yeah,
school, and he said,
yeah.
I'd rather teach or do anything.
Well, teaching takes
Because
the
it's
same
so- yeah.
toll.
Yeah.
Because
Because
it
you
was
get
so
involved. Yeah. You still get
tense,
involved.
you know.
Yeah,
And you work with all kinds.
yeah. But while growing up here, obviously I knew everybody knew me, and, you know, that kind of thing. And we were members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Okay.
So we grew up in that church.
Yeah.
And my mother, to her dying day, still, you know, went to church there.
And that's pretty tight group, isn't it?
Mhm.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
very much so. But anyway, I didn't stick with the Seventh-day Adventist faith, but
Is there a Seventh-day Adventist church in Buchanan?
yeah, it's right on Niles Buchanan Road.
Oh, okay.
When I moved out of here, I lived in Glean,
Mm-hmm.
and all my children graduated in Glean School.
Okay.
So
Okay. Deborah, what do you like to do in your free time?
Well, I'm getting back to my exercise regime now because, you know, when COVID hit, it was pretty devastating for me because everything shut down.
Yep.
And I had you know, you're scared to get too involved with anybody because you don't know who they're exposed to.
Right.
And so I had one girlfriend that we kept each other going. And she called me and she said, well, what you doing today? Same thing I did yesterday.
That's
Wait for
funny.
the pandemic to go away.
Right. We did some online stuff. But as you all know, it's really hard to keep that going. It's not
Yes.
the same as, you know, getting there. I mean, I knew all the instructors. Missy did the best she could online to, to say, hey, Deb, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't the same. If you get a phone call, kind of stop, take the phone call, go back, say, oh, well, that was enough. I'll sit down for a minute. It's just not like going to class.
Right.
So it was difficult. But now we're getting back into the routine, and I'm really enjoying the line dancing again because I thought I would forget everything. And then I went back, and we started dancing, and I was doing great until the third week when she started introducing new dances. So then we're back to stumbling around, but you get through it.
That's
So
funny.
anyway.
What makes you laugh?
Well, I don't know, just about everything. You can find humor in everything. And mostly it's best to laugh at yourself, not other people, and to laugh at circumstances. But if you can't find the humor in things, your life is going to be pretty dull.
Miserable.
Pretty dull. So yeah, you have to find that.
What kind of wisdom would you like to leave everybody with?
Well, I guess pretty much I think we all have a purpose in life. That purpose changes throughout the years. And I think maybe once you learn the one lesson, it moves on to the next lesson, and then the next lesson. And I think the lesson for me right now is to open up more. Be more myself. I think that's kind of what brought me back here. Because I always had the type of job that you had to be strictly professional and strictly cautious and careful, and you can't associate. And it was basically a 24-hour job
Oh, wow.
that you had to live it, not just work it. So this is my opportunity to open up a little bit more, be more involved with people, and not be afraid of that.
Yep.
So how are you, this is very vulnerable and personal question, but how are you finding yourself opening up? Or what are you stepping into that maybe you wouldn't have done before?
I wouldn't have done this before.
Yeah. Yeah, I push people's boundaries.
Anything going online, no way.
I know that feeling when I first started doing all this stuff. Oh my gosh, I was so out of my comfort zone. I'm like, okay, he's a good boss. He's pushing me. I don't like him right now, but he's a good boss.
See the gratitude?
Start working there.
She's practicing your gratitude.
I did. I went back and forth. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But it was good because I did learn a lot.
Yeah,
So,
but anyway,
great
to make a
opportunity.
long story short, I think that we worry about a lot of things that we probably shouldn't worry about. And we sweat it, and then you find out the next day that it resolved itself some kind of way, and it's all over with. And so I think we just shouldn't sweat the small stuff.
Yep. Did you ever read the book?
No.
Okay.
Don't
I
sweat the
love
small
reading.
stuff.
Yes.
My mom said one time, if you're mad at your girlfriend, just walk away, don't say a word. If you're home, go in your room and stay there and let her go home. Tomorrow, it'll be altogether different.
Yeah,
You'll be happy and hugging.
she'll have something wrong with somebody else the next time around. So what they used to say at work was, you better go to coffee break sometime so they can talk about somebody else.
That's hilarious. Oh, Deborah, thank you so very much. Thank you for being vulnerable and stepping out of that comfort zone and sharing with all of us. We do appreciate you so much. And like I said, with the Compassionate Callers and being on the board and offering your wisdom, if you like, in some of our programming, committee meetings, your suggestions, or saying, okay, maybe if you could try this or do that. I do appreciate that. We at the BASC appreciates it. Our patrons appreciates that. Please keep sharing us with your ideas. And thank you, everybody, for being here. I do appreciate you taking time out to learn and to be part of the BASC. I just love these these are like, well, I'm really partial to this
How did you
program.
come up with this?
Well, it was suggested that you guys had talked about it before I came to the senior center,
Okay.
doing senior stories.
Right.
And then with everything going down, I just had, with the fireplace, okay, we can do the recordings and call it conversations, fireplace conversations, and get that little cozy feeling. And then like now we can have people here, so I changed it from conversations with friends. So it's a mutual program that was talked about and then taken what was spoken and then kind of like what was my vision of asking what kind of questions I want to ask and having that freedom to do so and inviting people. And so we doing it with staff, board members, we've had some people out in the community, and so we're going to hopefully keep doing that once a month. And so we share it on our Facebook page, and we also share the videos on our YouTube channel. So please feel free to look at those. We have past ones along with the conversations. We also have some of the exercise programs. We have our informational and educational programs that I do record. So there's some really great information out there. So we just keep adding to our library. So we're very grateful.
Yeah.
Thanks to Adam who pushed me to do so. But
And the
it's fun
purpose-
now though.
Yeah.
I stepped into that fear and how do I do it?
You're
And
doing great.
thank you.
But the purpose is to kind of allow seniors, because seniors are oftentimes kind of in the larger society invisible, I mean. So we wanted to kind of talk about the stories and the impact seniors had in their life. This seemed like and then doing a video was even better than written. Because you get to, it's a conversation, you get to explore things a little bit more.
One of the pastors we have Kay Shadler here, and a few months ago we had Shay, I put the names together, Kay and Mary here, and they talked about how the transition and how everything went down to move the location of the BASC from downtown to here. So that is a great one. If you have not seen that video, I highly suggest that you go and watch it. It's really good.
I imagine that was quite a process.
Yes. Yeah, the video is just
Yeah.
amazing, what they did and how they find synchronicities and just collaborating and fundraisers and, yeah.
Good people.
Good
It's a
people.
lot of work.
Yes,
Well, it was good having you here.
Well,
yes.
thank you.
Yes, thank you so
And
much.
that makes me think I don't think I get out of my shell very much harder than what I do already, but it does give me some tips.
Well, don't sell yourself short. But I want to say thank you so much again, everyone. We do appreciate it. Please look at our Facebook page and for not just videos, but all different information on our classes, and look at our YouTube channel. We do appreciate it. Deb, once again, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great day. Blessings.